Welcome to Cat and Jess Talk the Best, where we're going to be talking about IMDb's top 250 movies from April 12th, 2018. My name is Kat.
And I'm Jess.
Today we are talking about number 204, Mad Max Fury Road, an action-adventure sci-fi film from 2015. This has an 8.1 on 775,323 votes. The spoiler-free synopsis. Years after the collapse of civilization, the tyrannical Immortan Joe enslaves apocalypse survivors inside the desert fortress, the Citadel. When the warrior Imperator Furiosa leads the despot's 5 wives in a daring escape, she forges an alliance with Max, a loner and former captive. Fortified in a massive armored truck, the war rig, they try to outrun the ruthless warlord and his henchmen in a deadly high-speed chase through the Wasteland.
Alright, so this is directed by George Miller. He directed the original Mad Max, of course, in Road Warrior. And he's also directed, I thought this was cute, Babe, Pig in the City.
Oh, I love Babe.
Right? I thought that was cute. I was like, aw. How adorable. You go from, Mad Max to Babe.
Yeah. That's funny.
And this stars Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, and Nicholas Hoult.
Yep. So the ratings. On IMDb, 26% of users rated this at an 8. The under 18 age group rated this the highest. Metacritic has a 90. Rotten Tomatoes a 97 on 402 critical reviews, 389 fresh, 13 rotten. Too fresh, Ben Sachs. Even after 2 viewings, I feel as though I've only scratched the surface of Mad Max Fury Road. George Miller's action fantasy is astonishingly dense for a big-budget spectacle, not only in its imagery and ideas, but in the complex interplay between them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Christy Lemire. Believe all the hype. This movie will melt your face off.
That's a weird description, but okay.
I just thought it was funny. So, 2 rotten. Pamela Powell. Mad Max Fury Road is one of the worst and meaningless movies I have ever seen. Take it she does not like action.
No. Not at all. Wow. That was mean.
Yeah. Jay Olsen. A wildly monotonous film that operates at 1 volume, fortissimo, bludgeoning us over the head into either submission or exhaustion. I mean, yeah, it does operate at 1 volume for 90% of the movie, but
It's an action film.
Yeah.
So what do you expect?
So the consensus. With exhilarating action and a surprising amount of narrative heft, Mad Max Fury Road brings George Miller's post-apocalyptic franchise roaring vigorously back to life.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the other ones, so I honestly didn't really know they existed until this one came out in theaters.
Oh, I knew about them.
I just didn't really care. So the budget was $150 million. Its opening weekend, it made $45,428,128, and it was number 2 overall for that weekend. So something else came out that weekend that beat it for number 1. It was in 3,702 movie theaters for 133 days. Its domestic total was $154,058,340. Foreign was $224,800,000 for a total worldwide of $378,858,340. Its all-time domestic rank is 344, and the highest it's been on the domestic gross list is 278, which it hit on August 6th of 2015, which was like 3 months after it came out.
Yeah, about 3 months.
So the awards, it won a lot. It won 6 Oscars, had 232 other wins, and 219 nominations.
Whoa.
Just like the other ones that have a lot of awards, we're going to talk about the ones...
The big ones, like
yeah.
the Academy Awards, the BAFTAs.
So, Academy Awards, it won Best Achievement in Film Editing, Best Achievement in Costume Design, Best Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Achievement in Sound Mixing and Sound Editing, and Best Achievement in Production Design. Those are all the ones that it won. And then it was nominated for Best Motion Picture, Best Achievement in Directing, Best Achievement in Cinematography, and Best Achievement in Visual Effects. We know that our previous movie on the list won Best Motion Picture of the Year over this one, which was Spotlight.
Yep.
Which I can see why this one was nominated, and I can also see why it didn't win over Spotlight.
Yeah, I can see it. It's the weird thing, a lot of action films don't win.
Yeah, it's dramas usually.
It's mostly dramas. Weird.
So the Golden Globes, it didn't win anything, but it was nominated for Best Motion Picture Drama, which is kind of funny because it's not even a drama. And then also Best Director.
Well, I mean, it's not a musical or a comedy, so...
Yeah, they had to put it somewhere.
Somewhere.
I feel like the Golden Globes need to expand and have one more. Like, still have drama be, like, the it thing to win, but...
Maybe throw, like, an action film one in there?
Because
like
there's...
action?
Yeah, I think they need to add in an action category because there's so many great action movies, especially in the past few years. Action has been getting a lot of attention with superhero movies coming out, so, like, and all these comic book movies, like, this one's a comic book movie, so...
Yeah, technically it is.
They need to, I think, add in one more category to their awards.
I would agree.
So the BAFTAs, it won Best Editing, Best Production Design, Best Costume Design, and Best Hair and Makeup. And then it was also nominated for Best Cinematography, Best Sound, and Best Achievement in Special Visual Effects.
Well, I could see that.
Yeah. Those nominees didn't win any of those.
I can see why it was nominated. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all the awards that we're gonna talk about because there's so many.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So initial thoughts.
Well, when I first saw this, I've seen the other Mad Max movies. It'd been a long time, but I'd seen them. And I was like, oh, okay, another Mad Max movie. I'm cool with this. I was like, okay, so no Mel Gibson. Okay, I'm okay with that. And then I saw it, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. I'm not even an action film person either. I'm more of like a comedy, and I loved it. I was like, yes!
I was wondering what you thought, because I know you don't like action.
It's not my favorite genre, but I'll handle it. I really like this movie. I was like, whoa, this is so cool. I mean, it really, like, the older films, I will admit, they're aged.
Yeah.
They show that they were made back then. This one is like, whoa, I loved it. So much. It wasn't too much action-y for me, actually. I like how Tom Hardy just, like, brought, like, a whole different thing to Max. He added so much to it.
I can't really speak on the past ones because I've never seen them. And like I said, I had never even heard of Mad Max until I heard this one was coming out a few years ago. And even then, I was like, I don't really care for Tom Hardy too much. Like, I'd only seen one thing with a minute, and that was Batman. And I enjoyed him as Bane. Like, he did a good job.
Yeah.
But, it just wasn't, like, super big. And I had no idea, really, who Charlize Theron was yet. So I was like, I don't care about either of these actors, really, so I don't care to see the movie. So I actually saw this movie in February for the first time. We watched it. It was one of the first movies we watched on our brand new 4K TV. So it was friggin' amazing. It looked absolutely amazing. I will admit, the first time I watched it, I was like, what in the world is going on? I was so confused.
You had no background, that's why.
But then when I watched it again yesterday, I liked it a lot more. The acting's great, the action's great, the CGI is great. There's literally only one point when I'm like, what in the world is going on with the CGI? And it's because this is one of those that came out when 3D was like everything. Like,
yeah.
Everybody wanted to watch 3D movies, so there's the one point when like some stuff like flies at the screen, and that's like your big 3D moment of the movie. And I'm like, I hate 3D, so.
Yeah, I'm not a big 3D fan myself.
Okay, I think we're done with initial thoughts. Alright, that was your warning. If you haven't watched the film yet, then stop listening and come back after you've watched it. So we start off with, an explanation of past events, kind of.
Yeah, Max is talking about what's happening.
Yeah.
What happened.
Like how the world used to be and all that.
And how he used to be a cop.
Yeah.
And that he had lost his wife and his child and all of that.
So that's where I have a question. In this one, it shows that he had a daughter, but didn't he have a son in the original?
Oh, I don't remember. It's been a long time.
I think he had a son in the original based on what I was looking at.
Yeah, I don't remember. If it was a boy or a girl. I don't. It's been a while since I've seen the original movies.
That's alright. I think they just changed it.
They probably did.
Which, I mean, that's not a big deal.
No.
It was just a question.
Oh.
So he's in the desert and he's got his little car behind him. And he's like looking out over the thing. And you see this two-headed lizard. And so, I do know one thing that the director wanted was the director wanted this to be in black and chrome. So basically black and white. I did not watch the black and white version. I watched the color version.
Yeah, I did too.
I have heard that the black and white version, you could tell on some of the CGI, like you could tell where it's at a lot easier.
Oh.
Like the lizard doesn't really look that real in black and white, whereas here in the CGI it looks a little bit more real. But I don't really know because I've never seen the black and white versions, so.
I haven't either.
So these guys start chasing him. Oh, he eats the lizard too, by the way. He eats it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you're in it's post-apocalyptic, so.
It's free food, I guess, even though it's two-headed, and there might be. I mean, because there's like the fought from everything. So.
Yeah. But so he's getting chased. And that's literally what this entire movie is a freaking car chase.
It's a big chase scene, the entire movie. I mean, if you want to make it plain and simple, it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad thing. Like, it's actually really cool, but.
It's if you want to be, like, stupid literal about it, then yeah.
Yeah. But so he gets caught by the guys that are chasing him and taken to what we find out is the Citadel. And you see the war boys, or the war dogs. They're, what's his name's? Immortan Joe's, war dogs.
Yeah.
And they're shaving his head and giving him a tattoo because he's going to be a donor. Max is going to be a donor for one of the sick war dogs.
Yeah. Because, universal donor.
Yeah, because he's got, what, O negative blood or something?
O negative. Yeah, O negative is the universal blood donor.
He manages to get away from them for a minute.
Yeah. And then the Citadel is, like, really just, like... it's a series of caves. So it's really big and, like, extensive and, like, elaborate. And, it's kind of hard to get out of.
Yeah. But he keeps seeing dead people.
Yeah.
And they keep saying, you let us die. And one of them, we see her quite often throughout the movie, and that's his kid, is what we are assuming at this point.
Yeah. Well, like, those memories kind of haunt you a bit.
Yeah. Because I didn't see, like I said, I didn't see any of the other movies, so I have no idea what happened to his family. I know that they died in either the first or the second one, but I don't remember or know how.
Yeah, I'd forgotten.
See, now I want to watch them, because I feel like I'm missing a lot of story. Like, this one does a good job of giving its own story, but it's also got some stuff where it's, like, leaves you questioning what's happened before this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what happened to Furiosa. Like, even though I know that she's not even really in any of the other movies, hers is more like a comic book stuff that you get more information from her. But I'm just like, I really want to know what happened.
Yeah, you gotta pull up the graphic novel for that.
Yeah. And I know that they have some involving Max prior to this, involving Furiosa prior to this. Like, I know they have stories on these specific characters and then other characters too in the whole Mad Max world. I just don't. I've never read them, so.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these movies are based on graphic novels,
Yeah, a lot of them are. We've got a lot of mangas and a lot of comic book movies here. He's captured again because the dead people are tormenting him. And then we see they're getting this big truck ready. This big, huge truck. And then we see this real messed up guy. And that's Immortan Joe.
Yes.
He's got, like, big, huge tumors on his back and stuff. And he's all white out, like the war dogs are. Just, like, super, like, they look like they put flour all over their skin.
Yeah, it's from the radiation.
Yeah. But yeah, this guy is Immortan Joe, and it looks like he used to be some kind of military guy, because he's got a lot of medals.
Yeah.
And he's giving an announcement about how his Imperator Furiosa is going to go to the Bullet Farm in Gastown to trade water and, I guess, milk for bullets and gas. And I guess that's how the world works now.
I mean, and then there's he has the big old pile, the stash of all this water.
Yeah, we see him, he opens up the water. And we find out later that he pumps it up from deep down in the earth. That's why it's clean water. Whereas most of the other water that's on, level,
it's not clean.
Yeah, it's irradiated or something like that. But yeah, Furiosa is going to be the driver. And we also see it, when he lets the water down, there's way more people than he lets water out.
Yeah.
Too. There's the few people, there's probably a good 200-300 people underneath the water, but then you see, thousands out around. that don't get water.
Yeah, it's kind of a dick move. Really, it's more of a power thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you're in control of the water, you can do whatever you want. And we see the people down there that don't get water. They're kind of, like, real fucked up. Like,
I mean, if you go, like, so many, like, days without water, you start dying, so.
Yeah, and there's some of them, and you can see, like, some of them have radiation issues, like, they've been losing limbs and stuff because of radiation poisoning, so.
I mean, Furiosa doesn't have any, she doesn't have her
Yeah, she's
left.
missing one of her arms. She has a metal contraption.
Okay. That's what I thought. I was like, I thought she didn't have part of her, like, one of her arms.
Because I know, I did have a question later on we already know about the wives, but, like, so, I was wondering why she is not one, and I found out that it's because she's sterile. She can't have kids, so that's why she's not one of his breeders. That's why she's one of his imperators.
Oh.
Because you would think she's a woman, she's going to be up there. Like, if Immortan Joe knows who she is, she's going to be one of his breeders. But she was somehow sterilized. I think it says it in the comic line that follows her, like, right before this, that she somehow is sterile. Something happened, so she's not one of the breeders.
She's a badass, though. You gotta give her that.
She is. So we see Max, he's, like, hanging in this little cage, and he gets picked to be a blood bag. This is what they end up calling him. It's kind of funny. But he gets picked to be Nux's blood bag.
Yeah.
Nux is one of the war dogs who is at the end of his half-life, is what they call it.
Yeah.
So he's super sick from the radiation. Then we see Immortan Joe's women. He's got lots of women with babies, and basically they're just providing milk. That's all they do. Because they're bigger women, like, really big. And they're just sitting in chairs with little things hooked up to their boobs and sucking out milk. A couple of them have some babies, but...
Yeah, they're feeders.
Yeah. Because he's got the feeders and he's got the breeders.
Good God.
We haven't seen the breeders yet.
And it's like, now think about this. If he's the only one, like, breeding, you're gonna start having issues.
Yeah. Especially because he's kind of messed up. We do see two of his kids. We've got a big guy, and we've got a little baby-looking guy in a chair. Like a floating type chair. So, later on in the movie, we hear the big guy say something about having a baby brother, and he's perfect in every way. We know why the little dude in the chair is not perfect in every way.
Yeah.
Big guy, the reasons he's not perfect is because he's a little bit dumb.
Just a little.
He's a little bit dumb. And he has that oxygen tank.
Yeah.
So, those are the things that we know that are messed up with him. It's like, Immortan Joe is trying to have the perfect heir to his civilization, I guess. But so, they take off. The war rig and its follower things, I guess. The little cars that are following it take off. They're heading out to Gastown. Furiosa is looking suspicious. She's, like, looking around and stuff. Something's wrong.
It seems like she's up to something, like she's gonna not do what she's supposed to do.
Yeah. But so they're driving along and they're heading to, I guess it's Gastown is what they say.
Yeah.
Is they're heading to first. And she just turns and goes in a different direction. One of the guys comes and asks her what she's doing. And she says we have different plans, different orders. And then we see that the little baby-looking guy calls over Immortan Joe and tells them that Furiosa's gone a different direction.
He's taking his wives away because, you shouldn't be owning people.
Yeah, he discovers that because he goes and looks in his vault, and there is only an old woman in there, and I'm guessing that's one of his past wives. Like, he doesn't really use her for anything anymore.
Yeah. So
they start getting a whole bunch of cars ready. And these cars are friggin' amazing. It's actually kind of cool. Just a little bit of trivia I found out here is, when I first watched it, all these cars were real. They literally made all of these cars.
Yep.
And also, they just went to a junkyard and picked up stuff that they thought looked cool to make into cars.
I could completely see that.
This is literally what they did.
It's kind of how the older ones are, too.
Okay. But, yeah, I figured we were talking about the cars right then. So Nux is seeing everybody getting all ready and everything, and he's like, I want to go, but one guy's like, nah, you're sick, dude, you can't go. But he's like, just take my blood bag, tie him to the front of the car, and we'll go. So that's exactly what they do.
Yep.
Tie Max to the front of this car in a war party. So the war party's sending off flares and stuff, and they're calling for backup from Gastown and Bullet Farm. The war rig almost falls into this little pit thing.
Yeah.
It's like a pit with a bunch of spikes coming out of it, and they're fending off what the people called buzzards. I called them the rock people. Because they live over in the rocks.
It works for me.
Because you got Bullet Farm people, you got Gastown people, you got rock people.
Rock people.
That's what I call them. So this is really when the chase begins. And it's kind of cool because you've got the big party from the Citadel coming after, and then you've got the little ones, the little rock people, trying to get him. And we see one guy, he gets shot by, I don't remember if it was a bullet or a spear or something like that, but he gets shot, and then he puts silver spray paint in his mouth.
Yeah.
And this happens a lot throughout the movie, and when they do this, they yell, "Witness me." It's something to do with going to Valhalla, because that's where they think that they're going when they die. The silver spray paint, I think, because they say it quite a bit, something about being shiny and new. So I think the silver spray paint kind of is a hint towards a brand new car type thing. It's shiny and chrome and new.
Yeah.
So it's basically what they're doing. They're going to be born into Valhalla shiny and new. So that's why they do the spray paint in their mouths.
Yeah.
So we finally see there's a woman crawling from the rig to the car on the war rig.
Yeah.
And she crawls up into the cabin. And this is one of the wives that Furiosa stole from Immortan Joe. So this is why she's being chased. Because she stole the wives.
Yeah. And I think, was it 2 of the wives are pregnant?
Yeah, I think 2 of them at least know that they're pregnant, because I don't see why all of them aren't pregnant.
Yeah.
One of them is very obviously pregnant.
She's due any day pregnant.
Yeah, very obviously pregnant. Then the other one, we find out later she's pregnant, because she says something about it.
Yeah.
It's funny, because she says, my child's going to be hideous. I'm like, okay. At least she knows. At least she's prepared. But Furiosa sends them back down in the little hatch thing because they're driving into this really big storm.
Yeah.
The CGI here is amazing. Looks great. I loved it. I thought the storm was amazing, and I'm driving in the storm this entire time.
Yeah.
At this point, Nux has caught up to the war rig, and he's trying to get up there. Max has gotten rid of one of the guys that was on the car that Nux is driving. So now he's trying to get Nux so he can get untied, because he's like they fed his tube through a chain.
Yeah.
Chained at the wrists.
Yeah, I was like, oh, well, that looked painful to me.
Yeah, Nux has his chain on his wrist, like tied to his wrist. That's where his tube is going in to feed him the blood. And then Max has like this cage thing on his face.
Yeah.
And his chain is coming out of the back of his neck because his tube is coming out of his shoulder. That's where it's feeding from. But, yeah, they're in the storm, and this just it's crazy. But somehow Max manages to survive being outside of the car in this storm.
Because it's Max.
Yeah. But so Nux is trying to blow his car up because he's like right next to the war rig, and he's trying to blow up the war rig to stop Furiosa. Well, he's not trying to blow up the entire war rig, just stop it enough. So he's trying to blow the tires, really.
Yeah, so it can stop, so he can get the wives back, and yada yada.
Because he doesn't want to kill the wives, because then Immortan Joe's going to be real pissed off.
Exactly.
But so he's trying to throw a flare in all this nitrous, but Max is able to break the back window and stop him. And they end up wrecking, and the war rig gets away. Well, for the most part. So we see, after the storm, the remains of what Nux's car was.
Yeah.
Max is trying to get the chain off.
Trying to.
Yeah, it's not working too well. But he sees that Furiosa has stopped up a little ways, and so he just drags Nux with them.
Yeah.
Over there. And because first he gets a shotgun and tries to blow Nux's arm off.
Tries
but that doesn't
to.
work.
No.
The shotgun's all messed up.
And it misses.
Yeah. So he goes over, and Furiosa is working on cleaning off all the sand off of the car, and the breeders are cleaning themselves off.
Yeah, and they're trying to get, these, chastity belts or something?
Yeah, something like that. Basically, it's underwear with teeth on the vagina area, so that no one except for Immortan Joe, who has the key to the things, can get in. Basically. That was a crude way to say it, but...
That's completely crude. I loved it.
That's what it was. So yeah. Max goes over there, and he has the shotgun held up, and they don't know that the shotgun doesn't work. He knows it, but they don't know. And he wants water, so they give him some water.
And then he wants to use the cutters they have so he can get this stupid chain off of him.
Yeah. So while one of the girls is cutting the chain off, Furiosa attacks Max. And all the girls help because they think that Max is trying to take them back to Immortan Joe, and they don't want to go back. They want to go to the green place.
So like a paradise to them.
Yeah. We see that the war party is catching up while they're doing their little fight thing there. Nux wakes up and helps Max. But it ends up being that Max somehow stops all the girls. And then he, Nux helps him get the gun, and he points the gun at Furiosa's head and is about to shoot. He shoots around her head and then aims it at the back of her head. So he stops her, and all the girls stop because they don't want Furiosa to die. But then Max has them cut off the chain, and then he gets in the war rig and starts driving off, leaving everyone else there.
Well, tries to, at least.
Yeah, but it stops.
Because Furiosa had installed a kill switch, so she's the only one who can drive it, really.
Yeah. Because she knows how to stop the kill switch. Like, it knows the combination of the little switches she needs. So she tells the girls they need to run. So they run over to the rig, and she talks him into letting them in.
Mm-hmm.
And he does. And before they're able to get very far, Nooks is able to catch up, and he gets onto the back of the war rig. They don't know it.
No. He sneaks on.
Yeah. So the gas town, they're almost to the rocks. The rock people area, where the rocks are. Like the mountains, I guess. But not really, they didn't look like mountains. It just looks like a little canyon.
Yeah, I think it's a good word, canyon.
So they're almost there, and they see that the Gastown boys have caught up. And then the car starts, like, making this weird, or the rig starts making this weird sound and stuff. Max goes to check it out because they are dragging the oil or the gas tank back because it got unplugged by Nux. Nux has made his way to the front, but all the girls fend him off and kick him out of the car.
It's like, they're underestimated, these women, just a bit.
Yeah. At this point, they're just trying to get free, and these people are preventing it, so they're going to do everything that they can to get free. And that's a great motivation, honestly.
Completely.
They had given Max this thing to get the little mask thing off of him. And he manages to get it off completely. He's also taken all the guns from the cabin. But not all the weapons. Furiosa shows that she has a little knife in the gear shifter thing. Like in the very top of it. That little bone thing is actually a knife. But Max gets back up to the front. At this point, the Bullet Farm boys have shown up too. And so now she's got 3 war parties behind her. But she'd made a deal with the rock people. And she told all the girls they need to get back in the little hole that they were hiding in. And Max and the super pregnant one hide in the little hole that's like right in the cabin.
Yeah.
Because Furiosa said that she's supposed to be alone. But she told Max what the kill switch thing was. Because she wants him to take the girls if the plan doesn't go the way it's supposed to. Which it doesn't.
Of course not. Why would anything work out? Come on.
So Furiosa's like out of the rig, and Max starts going because he was given the signal. Idiot. That's the signal. Because she doesn't know his name.
Because he won $1.
Yeah. But Furiosa catches up to the back of the war rig and makes it back up to the front. The war parties get trapped by some rocks because the rock guys dropped a whole bunch of rocks on them. So they blocked the way. The oil rig thing that was attached to the back of the war rig gets taken off. Like, Furiosa was unhooking it, so it's like halfway hooked up, and then it somehow she unhooks it the rest of the way and then blows it up. And then the rock guys are really mad. Immortan Joe is able to get through with his car while the rest of them are digging out the rocks. He's able to get through. So he's chasing the war rig. Joe sends Nux over onto the rig because he knows how to get in. But he messes up. He almost falls off. So Immortan Joe's like, okay, well, I'm going to do this myself. And he's like aiming up at Furiosa, but one of the really pregnant wife opens the door
one. Yeah.
Yeah. She like opens up the door and gets in the way.
Tries to be like a shield.
Yes, and he won't shoot her.
No. It's one of his bitches, as you can say.
Yeah. They're driving along, and there's this, like, outcrop of a rock, and it's about to hit her, but she manages to get back around the backside of the cabin, so it doesn't hit her. And, she's, like, trying to climb back in, but the door slips off, and she falls. She went under the wheels of the war rig and Immortan Joe's car, so she's most likely dead.
Yeah. And Joe's not very happy about that because, she was pregnant and all that jazz. And
yeah, so he stops and he picks her up and the war rig keeps going. This part I thought was kind of, like, ridiculous because it's literally looked like rigor mortis is already set in. Like, how she's positioned.
Yeah.
And at this point, like, that's too soon for rigor mortis to set in. She literally just died. She still would be able to, like, her arms would not be stuck in that position. Her arms and legs.
I think rigor mortis doesn't set in for 12 hours.
Yeah.
If I remember from my forensics class correctly. It's not for a while. It's not.
Yeah, it takes more than literally 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's at least, I think it's 12 hours. It sets in and then it goes away. If it's not 12
hours, it's like 8 or 9. It's quite a few hours.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't be stuck in that position. That's one thing that I was like, eh.
It's like, come on, just ask any person with a forensics background. It sets in, but then it goes away after a little while. Yeah. For about, like, it sets for, like, a few hours, then it goes away.
Yeah. But so Immortan Joe has stopped because, he's upset. He's holding down he's holding his wife. So the rig is over there and they've stopped. They're trying to cool it down because it's overheated. One of the girls is trying to go back because she thinks that, I think they were calling her Cheeto. I think that's what they were calling her. Which is kind of ridiculous that that's her name. Cheeto. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's a weird name, but I think that's right.
But so, they stop her from going back because she thinks that he's gonna forgive them for leaving, and they're like, it doesn't matter, he's still gonna use us the way he used us before. But they get the car going again, all the girls are back in the car. The redhead said that she'll keep watch, so she's gonna go up on the rig and keep watch behind them. Lenny Kravitz's daughter is going to count the bullets and see how much ammo they have. Because I'm pretty sure that's her.
Yeah. Zoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what her name was, but I knew she was Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
Yeah, that's her. That's her.
Oh, yep. That girl, her name is Cheeto, but not Cheeto as in the chip. It's Cheedo.
Yeah.
There's, Toast the Knowing, which is, Zoe Kravitz. The one that died is the Splendid Angarad. One of them is Capable. One of them is the Dag. And then the other one is Cheeto the Fragile. So that's their names.
Those are awful names.
They really are.
Those are bad names. I mean, the only one who has, like, a normal name is, like, Max and Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, the rest of them have some really weird names. Like, we've got Rictus. We've got the People Eater, the Bullet Farmer, the Doof Warrior,
So it's like these names are just wow.
Yeah. So, redhead, I don't know what her name is. I think she's capable.
That sounds
I think that's
right.
her name.
Yeah.
She goes back to keep watch, and she runs into Nux. And they kind of connect. Which is weird. But okay.
Oh, come on, Kat. There's got to be a little romance in there.
I understand that, but it's just really weird.
I know.
It's just weird.
Oh, I know.
So the rig starts just kind of like sliding all over and everything because they're in like this muddy area.
Yeah.
And instead of continuing to go, they stop and get stuck in the mud.
Yeah, and there's people behind them still chasing them.
They're not that far behind them.
No.
They all get stuck in the mud too, though. Except for one of them, he's got like this tank thing, so he's able to keep going.
Yeah.
That's the bullet farmer. He keeps going.
Okay, yeah.
So everyone in the rig is trying to get the car going. Nux is helping them out and everything. This is where we see that they are able to get the splendid Angred. They were able to get her heart beating again. But it wasn't enough to save the baby.
No. Baby dead.
Yeah, she was gone too long for the baby to stay alive. So they are cutting the baby out, which is not a good idea when someone just died to cut their baby out. You should wait a little bit and let them get some medical attention first, or they're gonna die. So she's dead again, you know.
Come on. I mean, get this thing ripped out of you? Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where we find that the baby would have been perfect. Like, this would have been his perfect heir that he wanted.
There's a boy, too.
Yeah. This is where Rictus says, I had a baby brother and he was perfect in every way.
Mm-hmm.
So the bullet farmer is like almost caught up and he's just shooting, not knowing that the girls are there. He's just shooting. Well, I mean, he knows the girls are there, but he can't see them because it's really dark. They've got the spotlight. Max has 3 shots in his little sniper rifle, and so he's trying to shoot. But he misses twice, so Furiosa takes the gun, and she shoots the light out. And the bullet farmer is literally right behind the light, so he's blinded. Because the light literally blew up in his face. So he just is like randomly shooting now. He absolutely can't see anything, and so he almost hits all of the girls.
Almost.
Yeah, but Furiosa saves one of them by holding up the door or whatever it is. She's holding up something and she saves one of them. The other ones are able to get to the rig in time. But Max goes back there and kills them because they're able to get the rig out of the mud. So Max goes and kills them while they're driving on a little ways.
Yeah.
And then they've stopped because they're cooling the engine, and they wait. They hear this big explosion, and they see someone walking. Furiosa's got a gun pointed at him, but it's Max.
It's Max.
Yeah. And he's got lots of bullets now. Lots and lots of bullets. Lots of ammo.
So, next morning.
Yeah.
Next morning, they continue to drive, and they come up to this tower.
Yeah. Well, during the night they were driving, and they passed this, like, bog with stilt people.
Yeah.
Because that's important for what these tower people are about to say.
Like a weird swampy thing.
Yeah. But yeah, the tower. You can go on.
So, they come to this tower, and there's this lady.
Yeah.
She naked.
Yeah. And she's, like, screaming and stuff, and Max is like, nope, that's bait.
He's like, I love that gif. You have no idea how much I love it. Like, that's bait. That's bait.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
go ahead.
Furiosa, she's like, no. She's like, this isn't, just watch. And so she goes up, and she tells the lady that, her mother's name.
Yeah. Like, who she is.
Yeah, who she is, and, where she was from. So, because she was, what was it?
She was from whatever the green place was.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they called it, but that's why she's taking the girls there, is because that's where she's from, and she knows that they will help her.
Yeah.
The naked woman, like, makes this, like, weird-ass noise. Like, calling to the other women. And there's a whole bunch of them that come in on motorcycles and stuff. And she says that Furiosa tells them that she's super excited to show the girls the green place, or show them home. But then they tell her, they're like, home doesn't exist anymore. That you passed it, like you drove right through it.
That swampy place was the green place.
Yeah, the water went bad because of the radiation. And this, I think, is my favorite shot of the whole thing. Furiosa walks off, and she, like, falls down to her knees in the sand and just screams. And that is my favorite shot, because they kind of dull her screaming and, like, ramp up the music.
Yeah.
And, like, you can still hear her screaming, but the music is, like, a very painful, sorrowful type theme right here. And you just hear her, and it's they shot it from the side, and the sun is, like, coming up a little, or, like, going back behind one of the mounds of sand, so it's, like, slightly shaded, and it's just sand's all flying around and everything, and it's just a really good shot. This is my favorite shot of the whole movie. Like, there's a bunch of good ones, but this is my favorite one.
It's quite well done. It really is.
Yeah. So they come up with a plan. They have discovered that they have enough fuel to drive the same direction they've been driving for 160 days. And that Max is welcome to come. He decides he doesn't want to, that he's going to go his own way. Because that's kind of how Max is. He's just kind of a drifter. He goes on his own, does his own thing.
A loner.
Yeah. But Max realizes as he's driving that they're not really going to get to anything. Like, there's probably nothing out there. So he catches up to them and says that they need to go back, because they can go back to the Citadel and live a good life, because there's no one there defending it except for sick war dogs. Like, there's no one there.
It's like, go to where you know there's water.
Yeah, there's water, there's crops, you can live there. So just go there. So they agree to go back. So they get back to the war rig, and they start heading back, and the war party's just been kind of waiting. And they see them, and they know that they're heading back to the Citadel because it's undefended. And so they start chasing them, and this is like the big action sequence. Like, there's been a ton of action since this point, but now it's like a good 30 minutes of action.
Yeah, this is a big chunk of it. It's like the climax of the film.
Yeah. It really is. But there's all kinds of stuff going on right here, and it looks like pretty much that they're not going to get out. You got a bunch of people dying, like a bunch of the women that just helped them. You got them dying. Furiosa is injured really badly. Like, she gets stabbed in the side. One of the girls gets taken back by Immortan Joe. Zoe Kravitz, her character, gets taken back by Immortan Joe. So she's in Immortan Joe's car. Max is just, like, literally all over, literally, like, every car. He's in like 6 different cars at this point.
He's just hopping all over the place.
Yeah, he's just trying to prevent everyone from getting the girls. So they've made it back to the canyon. Joe's car is like right in front of the war rig, and Furiosa's trying to get up there to try and stop them. So one of the girls has Rictus take her onto the car, and at this point you think that she's like, okay, I really need to give myself up now, so you think that she's gonna go back to Immortan Joe, but Rictus gets distracted, and then Furiosa gets helped onto Immortan Joe's car.
Yeah.
And Furiosa uses like some weird chain thing, and like it attaches it to the mask that Immortan Joe has on. Yeah. And it gets wrapped up in the wheel, and it yanks his face off.
That part was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh gosh, that was gross.
Yeah, it really was.
I had to turn away for a second when that happened. Not gonna lie.
That was like Saw bear trap face mask thing.
Exactly.
That's what that was. Nux says that so all the other girls go onto Immortan Joe's car because now Immortan Joe's dead. Nux says that he'll be there in a minute. He's just gonna set the rig to go by itself. But he doesn't. He crashes it because he's the only thing between them and the rest of the war party. Yeah. So he crashes it. It blows up. And this is where we get the questionable CGI. Yeah. The 3D-ness. He crashes it and blocks the way because literally all, like, the whole sides of the canyon come down and there's no way that they can get through. Like, it'll take them a long time to get through. Yeah. And then we see that Furiosa is pretty much dying. Like, her lungs, one of them is collapsing. She can't breathe.
So Max punches a hole in her...
In the opposite side.
On her side, yeah.
Yeah. Because that relieves some of the pressure.
Yeah, and she's dying in a way. So yeah. Max helps her out, gives her some blood.
Yeah, because he's universal donor, like we saw earlier in the movie. Yep. So they get back to the Citadel. And we see there's like the sick war dogs and the baby-looking guy. That's Immortan Joe's son. They are like questioning because they know that that's Immortan Joe's car, and they see that they have something tied to the front of it. And Max peels off the sheet, and reveals that Joe is dead. Yeah. And so all the crowd's cheering, "Let him up! Let him up! Let him up!"
And they take Joe's body and they just have fun with it. I was like, they have fun with it.
Yeah, they do. So they let him up. The feeder women that we saw earlier, they're letting everyone have water. Basically, it's going to be a good thing for everyone. Yep. And then we see Max leaves.
Yeah. He's like, I'm out. Peace, y'all.
Yep, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's Mad Max Fury Road for you.
Yeah. Music. So the music is by Junkie XL, which that's just one of his names. He goes by a few different names. His most recent one is Junkie XL. That's that he goes by. His real name is Tom Hulkenborg. I believe it's German. I believe he's German. But he is the composer for this. He is also known for Brimstone, Alita Battle Angel, which came out earlier this year, Mortal Engines, Deadpool, Batman vs. Superman, and Justice League, I believe he worked on. So he's got a lot of good music under his belt. Like, he's really good at what he does. He got started on a movie called Siberia.
I know that movie.
That was his first ever thing that he worked on. And currently, he is working on Sonic the Hedgehog, which I am so very sorry. And then he's also working on Terminator Dark Fate, which both of those movies are supposed to be coming out this year.
Terminator?
Dark Fate.
Another one? Can they stop?
No, they're going to keep going. It's
Stop!
like Saw, they'll never stop.
Stop. Should have stopped with the third one, but no, they didn't listen.
But so, I actually really liked all the music to this one. The first time I watched it, I was like really trying to pay attention to the story and like understand what was happening. But then this last time that I watched it, I was actually able to appreciate the music more. It's got a very rock feel to it, of course, because of it being like post-apocalyptic and it being heavy action. But even those moments when it's not the heavy rock feel, it's great music.
It is.
And I like the theme that they have, that the guitar guy keeps playing. You know, the guitar on his little strings there.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I really like the music in this one.
I did too. It went well with it.
Yeah. So, comparison. We kind of talked about it a little bit, the 3 Mel Gibson Mad Max movies, and then the comics.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I've never read any of the comics, I've never seen any of the Mel Gibson ones, so I can't really compare any of them.
It's been a long time for me from the older ones. I will admit that. I do remember them, though. It's like the cars are very similar. Like the style of cars. They are. I'm trying to remember what else that was similar to this one. Like how the costumes and all that. That's very similar also to the older movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, now we gotta watch them all again so we can...
It's been a while. I will admit that. It has been a while.
Yeah, I don't really know much of anything about those. I do have one trivia.
Go.
So, they were filming in an actual desert in, I believe it was in Africa. But it was really, really cold. Like, the entire time it was super cold.
Huh.
So, they're out there getting hosed down with water in a really cold desert.
That's gotta be miserable.
Yeah, so they were cold for the most part, and those costumes were not suitable for the cold, so that had to suck.
Completely. That does suck.
Yeah. That's all I got.
I got a couple. So you're speaking of that guitar dude?
Yeah.
So, the flame shooting one?
Yeah.
Which is awesome, by the way.
Which is actually a real flamethrower. And a real guitar.
It is a real guitar. It weighed over 130 pounds. Shot real flames and everything. Which he used with the whammy bar.
Oh,
and it's
man.
an actual Australian musician. His name is Sean Happ. Known as Iota.
Oh, yeah, that's
from
right.
Australia. I was like, sweet. You got a real guitarist. Excellent.
Yeah.
This has almost 500 hours of footage.
Oh, man.
It took the editor, 3 months to watch it all.
Dang.
So, I thought that was crazy. What was the other one? Speaking of the spraying stuff, the silver spray, whatever.
Yeah.
What I was looking at. I saw it in here. So it was actually just to, it was more of like a getting high thing, actually. Keep them high, keep them happy. That's pretty much what that was about.
Interesting.
And the one I thought was awesome. You know those old ladies?
Yeah.
They did their own stunts.
A lot of the stunts were done by the actors in this. Like, Tom Hardy did a lot of his own stunts, too.
I love how the old ladies did their own stunts. That is my favorite.
Awesome.
I'm like, yes! Old ladies doing their own stunts. Excellent. It's like just because they're old does not mean they're not, they're weak. That's what I always love.
Yeah. They're probably all in better shape than I am. So.
Probably. Yeah. Same. I mean, those are my interesting ones I had. We talked about some during the film when we were talking about it also.
Yeah. Okay. So where it has been on the list before, of course this came out in 2015, so it couldn't have been on the first 3 lists that we do. So 2016, it was number 197. 2018, number 206. And then as of today when we are recording, it is number 205 on the list. So it's just kind of sticking around the same spot. I don't think it'll really move off for a while. I think it'll still be on there because it's a really good movie. So previously, number 204 on the list, Stalag 17 from 1953 was the 2010 and 2012 one. Infernal Affairs from 2002 was the 2014 list. 2016 list, $1 Million Baby from 2004. 2018 list, The Wages of Fear from 1953. And then today when we are recording, number 204 is Prisoners from 2013, which we just previously watched.
Huh, so Prisoners is moving up.
Yeah, Prisoners is moving up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, favorite line?
I have a couple. The one line that says, "We are not things."
Yeah.
I love that one. What was the other ones? From Immortan Joe. Everybody has gone out of their mind. You're not the only one, Max. And what was my other one? Another Immortan Joe. He's got some good lines, actually, for being a villain. I am your redeemer. It is by my hand you will rise from the ashes of this world.
Oh, yeah, he says that to Nux, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Some good lines for being the villain. Yeah. I mean, villains typically have some really good lines.
Yeah, they do.
I've noticed that. Huh.
I have a few. Our babies will not be your warlords. I'm gonna die historic on the Fury Road. Oh, what a day. What a lovely day. I liked that one. Shows. Everyone in the old world had shows. When they see that satellite.
Yeah, it's true.
I thought that was funny.
I mean, it's true.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane. I liked that one that you said, the Immortan Joe one.
Which one? I said 2 of them.
The last one that you said.
I am your redeemer. It is by my hand you will rise from the ashes of this world.
Yeah.
I really like that line too, actually.
We'll go with that one.
Cool. I'm all for that.
So, our rating. What did you think?
I'm giving this a solid 8.
Okay.
It's got some good action sequences, some good acting. I mean, I like the villain.
Yeah.
Really creepy. Excellent way to die. I will give him that.
Yeah, having your face ripped off.
Having your face ripped off, yeah. And overall, I mean, it's sticking to, like, that old, to the Mad Max kind of franchise thing. It did a really good job with that. It still stuck with, like, the Mad Max, like, theme, but it had its own story to it.
Yeah.
And only reflected back a little bit to the older films, which was nice. It made it its own.
Yeah. I'm giving it an 8 as well. I really liked pretty much the whole movie. There was that one little bit of CGI that I was just like, the 3D bit there with the guitar and the steering wheel. I didn't really like that. And then just the fact that I had to watch it more than once to actually really like it. It was kind of difficult for me to like it the first time just because there was so much going on and I was so confused.
I think it helps to be familiar with the older films to really get this one.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it helps.
Definitely not familiar with the older films. But yeah, I really liked it. The CGI 99% of the time was amazing. Story was great. Music was great. The acting was great. That's about all I got for that one. So our next film is The 400 Blows, which is a French film from 1959. So that'll be out next week. Well, on Friday, because this one's coming out Saturday. So our next event is going to be our Harry Potter event. We're back around to that one. It'll be coming out at the end of July again. This one's going to be Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, and the Half-Blood Prince. And we will have our two guests, Eric and Dana, back with us for that one.
Yep, should be awesome.
Yep. Also, we are still offering premium. If you would like to become a premium member, you will get uncut episodes, early released episodes, and special monthly episode, all for $1 a month. And for $5 a month, you'll be able to join us for a movie of your choice every 50 movies. So you've got 4 movies left that you can pick to join us for. You'll also get all of the $1 a month premium bonuses. So our next monthly special episode for May is going to be our top 50. We are almost done with our first 50 movies, so we're going to rank them all how we believe they should be ranked, not how they're ranked on the list. Yeah.
I mean, it took us a year to do 50 movies. So we're doing this for a couple of years, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to check that out, that'll be out the last day of May. If you could leave us some ratings and reviews, that would be great. We'd love to know how we're doing. We've gotten a couple, more just really comments on YouTube. And then we also have one still on iTunes, but we'd like to have a few more ratings and reviews just so we know like how we're doing and what we need to change, what we need to keep the same. If you could share the show with your friends, that would be great. We'd like to have some more listeners. Also, if you could follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, any of those, that would be great as well. Our music is by Audio Benger, and you can find him on Facebook, YouTube, and his website, audiobenger.net.
Yeah.
So, till next time with the 400 Blows, we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.